meeting to order. Before we get started, I just want to welcome everybody here to the start of our 2026 board meetings. We've got a lot of new faces around the table, so I want to just take a minute to welcome all of our new members and thank all of my board members for showing up tonight and for being present and being willing to work with us to work for our students and make the district a better place. So thank you for being here tonight. Also, I just want to announce that we had one resignation over the break. Richard Ginelli, who was a longtime board member, has stepped down, and we really are going to miss him. He's given a lot of time to the board over the years, but we wish him well. And we can stand for the pledge.
Present arms.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Arms. Right face. Forward. March.
Al, can you please do roll call?
Kate?
Here.
Gladys?
Here.
Dr. Cohen? Not here. Lauren?
Here.
Unita?
Here.
Cindy?
Here.
Sherry?
Here.
Sean? Here. Minnie? Here. Louisa?
Here.
And I'm here.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next item on our agenda, Spotlight Our School. Tonight we have Reach Endeavor. Welcome.
Thank you. And thank you guys for the opportunity. I hope. Yeah. If you're down there. Yeah, so Reach and Endeavor, we have our mascot for the first time, the Badgers, right, the Honey Badgers, which the students pick. I think it's perfect for our school, because some days they're the first part of our thing, they're quite sweet, and some days they may have some bite, like a badger. So I think it just fits, perfectly, and then you can see our mascot up there. Oh, thanks. Okay. And then that's our team, Mr. Fisk, Mr. Frisch, Miss Fisk, Michael, all very experienced and dedicated staff. They do a wonderful job. Our two WIGs for the year, lower, get our students to come to school. We cannot affect change if they don't come to school, and then improve the percentage of the students when they are there to earn the positive behavior, the intervention support program that we have. And then here's some data. Holy Christmas. All right, well, I should have never said not to jinx myself. Okay, so I love data because it helps to drive what we do for sure, but I always say it pales in comparison to the relationships that we need with our students. So that is certainly first and right foremost. I tell people we're a restorative practice school, that we are very much into teaching when something doesn't go the way it's supposed to, there's a better way about it. So we spend a ton of time speaking to our students about this is the better way. So at the start of our school year last year, we had 65%. This year, as of January 26th, we're down to 50 and 68. And you may say that kind of looks, still, the 55% is for all of our students that have been there since the start of school. So we are affecting change with them. So a lot of times, if you look at the data from our school, it's a bit tricky because when new students come to us, quite frequently they come to us because they've had challenges in school, they're not attending school. So does that need to improve? For sure. And we certainly spend a lot of time trying to improve that. And then down below, there's a definite distinction between our 6th through the 8th graders and the 9th through 12th. Our younger students traditionally seem to buy in a bit more into our system where they can earn something in return. And so the other thing that I should state about that is with Ms. T, we put in the advisory again this year, and that any time a student doesn't come to school for 2 days, the advisory teacher calls up the parent or the guardian. We've done multiple, Mr. Frisch, myself, and our pair who speaks Spanish, we've done multiple trips to homes. And so we'll keep battling that. A picture on the left is a gentleman who comes to work with us. CJR does a ton of work with our school. So that was actually a drive that they did in the fall. And then we took some pictures. Big believers in to give back. So I actually spoke to Mr. Radford last week to see if we could do some things in our community as well. So for our students, really important for them to start understanding how to if they're upset, to be able to control themselves, right? Manage themselves, start to make some responsible decisions. And really the idea that we are part of a larger group, right? Our school, our town, and so forth. So spend, again, lots of time on this as well. These are a couple of the field trips we've taken so far. I would be, I'd like to take a second to thank Doc and Ms. T, who's my direct supervisor. We've had great support, multiple conversations. If you need this bill, let me know, and then I'll go to our staff. And of course, that starts here, so, thank you. So yeah, there's a couple pictures we took a field trip to the Pratt Wright Nature Center, and then we went to the Aldrich Museum, and they're doing some work there. It was quite fun. And then last one, there's thousands of quotes that we could use. I think this one's great, that education's the most powerful tool you can use to change things, right? And so last week, we had a call. Juanita was on the call, and I think her words were quite sage. She said to the student on the call, whatever this is going on right now, right, within your life, it's just a tiny picture of your life. It should not define you. And that, I think, our philosophy as well. So any questions? Oh, all right. Well, thank you.
You're not getting away that quickly.
Okay. Ready to turn.
Bill, I just want to say that, and I'm sure Kelly would agree, there's been a marked difference in the climate and just the culture that you're developing over there at that program. Kelly and I have both been over there several times this year, and each time I go, I see incremental improvements in the way that the students are presenting themselves, carrying themselves, introducing themselves, making eye contact, shaking hands appropriately. And it's because I know you take the time to, we just had a conversation earlier before this meeting about sweating the small stuff, and you're a sweat the small stuff guy. And you take the time to work with kids to get them to reflect on their behaviors and how it impacts others. And we couldn't be happier with where you're going with the kids, and I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you. And certainly due to our team being receptive to some tweaks and some, changes for sure.
Absolutely. Yep, the staff has been
Thank you.
terrific.
Yeah, huge. Yes, sir.
Can you take a second, Bill, to talk to members that may not know what Reach and Endeavor is and explain the program and where it's located?
Yeah, for sure. So right now, it is located on Crosby Street. We are, when I go to PPTs or I go to meet moms or dads, right, or the guardians, I always explain it's an opportunity to reset your son or daughter. It's a fresh start, and it's really designed to be for students who need a smaller environment. And again, the math piece is super important, social studies, but before we can get to that, it's all of that stuff, right? It's being able to start to understand yourself. If you're upset, why? And I think a lot of our kids who come to us have difficulties in school, certainly. And so to get them to understand, come in, it's safe, it's sound. And we always say we'd love to get the best version of yourself each day, and we never want that best version to be, going to be the same from day to day. So yeah, just a huge, believer in that. Whatever you do, we can make it right better, and you all bring something special, something unique that you do well. So we'll certainly talk about those things, right? Celebrate, and then work on the things that you need to improve. So very, very small, right? Class sizes. I know, I know through speaking to our team that they are diligently trying to find a place for us. But yeah, so we're right on Crosby Street.
In my 4 years being on the board, it's the first time that we've had Reach and Endeavor here, and
Thank you for having me.
yeah, absolutely. Well, for me, and I'm sure others around this table, your program and what you do is some of the most important work that we have in the district. And I know, having had to deal through different expulsion hearings, et cetera, I mean, it's just really important what you do. So thank you very much for committing to helping the kids. It's really important.
We just met with Angelo and Karina, so we have 5 students that we're set right now to send back at the break. And then we met with Rogers Park yesterday, and we have another 5 that we're going to send back there. So the other piece is it's not a place where you go and get stuck. The idea is to go there, give you the tools that you don't have in your kit to help you be successful. Yeah, for sure.
Anybody else have any comments or questions?
Could you just distinguish the age from, being in the Reach program versus being in the Endeavor for people that really don't know? It's middle and high school, so.
Yes, ma'am. So if you come through, on one side, it's distinctly 6th grade up to 8th. On the other side, it's distinctly 9 to 12. Our philosophy is the same with them, but again, you certainly see that as expected, you certainly see a big difference between those two sides. And the high school side, a lot of the ones who come to us, have made some mistakes or had some missteps. So, yeah, a big difference between those two.
Anybody else? No? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Lauren, can you read the public participation, please?
The board welcomes public participation and asks that comments be limited to 3 minutes. The public may offer objective comments of school operations and programs that concern them. The board will not permit any expression of personal complaints or defamatory comments about Board of Education personnel and students, nor against any person connected with the Danbury Public School system.
I don't think we have anybody for public participation. Nope, okay, perfect. Okay, consent calendar. Sean, can you make the motion?
I make a motion that we waive the reading of the consent calendar and accept the minutes as they appear. Motion that the Board of Education can consent calendar exhibits 26-01 through 26-04 in accordance with 11/18/25 minutes, Sites and Facilities Committee, 2601, 11/24/25 regular board meetings, 26-02, 12/3/25 annual board meeting, 26-03, 1/7/26 policy committee, 26 through 04.
Okay, thank you, Sean. Do I hear a second? Second by Al. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Okay, educational staff representatives.
Hello, everybody. No chair anymore. I gotta get used to this. All right, it's nice to see everyone. Happy New Year. I probably should put these on so I can see what I'm talking about. So good evening, everyone. Good evening to our new chairperson. Nice to welcome you here. And for our new board members that I haven't met, my name's Erin Daly, and I'm honored to be here tonight as the president of NEA Danbury. I've been a teacher here for 22 years, teaching awesome third graders at Pembroke School. I often get asked what keeps me in the classroom all these years. And for me, it's those full circle moments that kind of happen in a city as unique as Danbury. Just the other day, I ran into one of my students, my former students, who is now 29 years old. And I taught them more than 20 years ago. Seeing them now as a successful adult and now parent with children in Danbury Public Schools just blew me away. And it's kind of our ultimate why as teachers, seeing not just our students grow up, but seeing them reinvesting in our community and having kids go to Danbury Public Schools. It's kind of one of those moments, you just take with you in your heart. When my former students and I, we recall learning experiences together, it reminds me that what we do in our classroom every day isn't about just lesson plans. It's about the future of our community. And it reminds me that every decision made in these meetings here affects the actual lives and futures of all of our neighbors. And that's the heart that I bring to this role. I'm also very happy to have with me the most awesome vice president, Julian Schaefer. And Julian's a history teacher at Danbury West and Danbury, Maine, and he's been here for over a decade teaching students. We're both committed to being your partners in making this district the best it can be. So for those who don't know, that may be new to the board, what is the Teachers Union and what is NEA Danbury? Thought you'd give you just a little bit of information. Because we have new faces here, and you're probably going to be seeing a lot of us, I wanted to share a little bit about what our role is for a teachers union. As the union president, I see myself as the bridge. My job is the primary voice for our educators. ensuring that their expertise, their voices, their ideas, their challenges comes to you, that you hear about it. NEA Danbury is not just about negotiating contracts. That's what you'll hear a lot about. But it's more than wages. It's more than working conditions. It's all of those things wrapped up together. It's about keeping our great teachers here in Danbury. At our core, we're an advocacy program. We're an advocacy organization working to make sure we make things better for all of our employees and all of our students here. We work to ensure our schools are safe, our students have the resources that they need, and that the professional integrity of teaching is respected. And we strongly believe, you're going to hear us say this over and over again, that our teaching working conditions are our students' learning conditions. When we support one, we support both. First off, I want to give congratulations to all of our most newly elected members of the Board of Ed. Congratulations especially. And to our new chairperson, thank you so much for taking on this role. And also to acknowledge Ms. Cooper for all of her years as chairperson. I wanted to thank you for that too. I know these are not roles that you take on lightly, and I know they're very underappreciated roles, so thank you for that. We know how much work goes into your roles, and we're really excited about the possibilities that we have with this fresh new start with all of these new faces on our board. And a special thank you to everybody for taking that on. It's not an easy challenge. But we want to move forward working with you with a no surprises approach. We're looking to build a relationship built on transparency with real, honest communication. My door is always open, and I know that's a phrase everybody says, but I want you to know that's true. And our superintendent knows that that's true, and we have that great working relationship, she and I, which I'm very proud that we have that together. We want no surprises, and we're not going to come here and tell you things that have already talked about in the past or in person. We're going to let you know when we have issues arise, and we're going to let you know exactly where we're coming from, but you're probably going to know it in advance, and it's not going to be a surprise moment here. But please, just don't take our word for our open door policy. Please come and visit us. Come and walk the halls with us and see the magic of what goes on in our schools for yourself. Julian and I would be happy to host you for site visits where we walk the halls, and it doesn't have to be one of those announced, for show, dog and pony kind of visits. It's just come in, watch us teach, watch what's going on, see the learning, see the experiences, walk with us, talk with us, see the incredible work that's actually happening in our classrooms. We want you to feel not connected to this room, but connected to our school buildings and the teachers and students in them. That brings me to the most sacred part of our mission, our protection of our students. When parents drop their children at the bus stop, they're entrusting us with their most precious gift. We know that. And to that end, protection of our students is our broad mission. It's about their physical safety, of course, but it's also about their mental health and their emotional well-being. It's about making sure every child has access to a counselor, keeping our students safe from their struggles, or at least helping them when they have struggles, and in a classroom environment that is a sanctuary for them. It's about keeping our students safe from the harm of what's going on around us in the world. We want to work with you to ensure our schools are places where every student, regardless of their background, feels safe, seen, and shielded from the dangers and pressures of the outside world so they can focus on their learning. One of our biggest priorities working with you will be to improve our school facilities. We want every student and staff member to walk into their building to feel safe, proud, and empowered to do their best, and not just at DHS West. I know that's our big shiny building now, but all buildings, students should feel the same way when they walk into their schools. Our buildings should be a reflection of how much we value the people inside them, as well as our community. So I want to work together with you to make sure all Danbury schools are modernized, healthy spaces where everyone can thrive. We want to make sure our Danbury schools are places of pride for everyone that enters. Finally, We know that many of our challenges come down to the bottom line, and we're eager to stand shoulder to shoulder with you, with this board, going with you, if necessary, to Hartford for extra funding from the state when our school has projects or missions where we need to get that extra funding. When we go to the state capitol as a united front, teachers and board members together, our voice is going to be pretty hard to ignore. We're all on the same team, and I really want tonight's mission to be about uniting us together for that same mission. We have a massive opportunity for a fresh start here, and we're ready to roll up our sleeves and get to work with you. Congratulations again to all the new members and to all the former faces that I see. I'm so happy to see you back. And Julian and I look forward to working with you and seeing you for the rest of this year and your term. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Welcome all. I'm Julian Schaefer, again, Vice President of NEA Danbury. I'm really excited to be here today. A lot of great new faces. I know we've had the opportunity to meet a lot of you and have conversations with all of you, or many of you already. For those who we haven't, I'm really excited to be able to build these relationships that Erin's talking about. I really think that our union plays a really important role in healthy democratic governance of our public schools. Right, and so I think, as Erin mentioned, right, when we work together, I think we have a lot of the same goals, right? When we help our teachers, when we help our students, right? When we help our students, we help our teachers, right? And so I think, you know, we come into this profession with a love for children, for youth, for community, for really wanting the best for all our neighbors living around us, right? And I think to be able to work together with our board, with our superintendent, right, our collaborative relationships really will build the best schools that we have here, and that's good for everyone. So just, you know, to echo a lot of what Erin said, I didn't do my homework, I didn't write today. But I'm very excited to be working with us. I think with the conversations that we've had already with many of you, I think we have a really great path forward, and I'm just looking forward to that collaborative relationship that we can build together.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Okay. Do we have any student representatives here tonight? Okay.
Hi, my name is Alexandra, and I'm representing ACE. Good evening, Board of Ed members, cabinets, and community members. Thank you for allowing me to represent and speak on behalf of the Alternate Center of Excellence. 17 students have toured ACE, and we're currently interviewing students who will start on the first day of semester 2. We're excited to welcome our new students. On January 23rd, a group of ACE students will be visiting Pembroke School to make Valentine's Day cards with Miss Chimenel's class. And afterwards, we're hoping to drop these cards off at Glen Hill. This is our second year doing this, and it is a hope that we'll be able to physically hand cards to the Glen Hill residents like we did last year. On February 18th, a group of students will be headed to the new Connecticut Humane Society Shelter and Pet Resource Center in Wilton to make snuffle mats for the resident dogs waiting to be adopted. Students will gain community service hours from this event. ACE had trips to the center in the past, in both in New Sultan site and in Newington headquarters. ACE recently held an annual Breakfast with Santa event, which was a huge success this year. We served over 260 pancakes breakfast, took pictures with Santa, and offered free face painting and holiday crafts for our guests. Thank you to the students, volunteers, and staff for all the hard work and time that went into making the event a success. On Thursday, January 29th, ACE will hold a special large guidance to celebrate our January graduates. At this large guidance, the graduates' guidance teacher will have an opportunity to celebrate the graduates. On January, graduates will participate in a formal graduation ceremony in June. Thank you all for allowing us to share what's going on with our ACE family, and have a nice evening. Stay healthy and remain ACE strong. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, since we don't have any presentations, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Casimiro for the superintendent's report.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. Before we get started under the superintendent's report, I just wanted to take a moment to also acknowledge Richard our former board member who had to retire, Richard Janelli, long-standing, long-serving board member, who has been an ultimate supporter of our school system. So we are very thankful for his service over the years and his friendship, and we wish him well in his next chapter. I also like to acknowledge Gladys as well. As we start the year, I also want to thank you for your service to the board as board chair. Okay. With regards to the 2026-27 budget, so just a little update on where we are in that process. We're cutting out, okay? So we've spent a considerable amount of time meeting with schools, departments, and really combing through all of the various budgets and going through the asks that we have for next year. We have, drivers, as you know, we're opening the last phase of Danbury High School West, which will include 12th graders, and also require some operational staff to set the building up for success for its kind of final installation. So there'll be some operational expenses that will be incurring as a result of that, for that growth. Also, as you know, transportation will be a driver this year, as it has been in the last couple of years. Hopefully, this will be the last phase in of a transportation jump. We'll be adding a few more buses into the route, and also some of the cost of that transportation has gone up incrementally. So some other drivers are really around some other areas in the budget, incremental staffing that's needed to operate next year, and some requests that we have from the buildings and departments, a few special education requests as well, with some driving costs. We will take all of those drivers, measure those up against what we have in our grants, the availability that we have, and where we've had some excess room over the last couple of years with regards to open positions. And we're in the process of formulating that final number now. So you'll be hearing more about the budget with some more harder numbers next week when we have our finance committee. And then presentations, public will go from that point forward until we turn our budget over to the city in February. So we're well under our way. Lots of work happening, a lot of diligent work. Finance office has been working hard, all the departments in the buildings coming together to have some really deep discussions about the budget and the needs for next year. So more to come as early as very early next week. Okay. Moving down the line, I'd like for Kelly Truchas to give a little update on school climate. As you know, we've had recent legislation passed, but beyond the legislation, improving school climate is a good thing to do, and Kelly's going to let us know where we're at.
Thank you, Dr. Casimiro. So as most of our former board members are aware, last June we met in the policy committee where we approved the CABE recommended policy for school climate. Sorry about that. For school climate. And this year has been our first rollout of that legislation. So there's a number of things that are required, and this year we are kind of dipping our toe into it and continuing to expand over next year. What we did this year so far is that we've identified school climate teams in every single building. So there are representatives from leadership, from teachers, paraeducators, students, parents, to give multiple inputs into the culture and climate of schools. We're also looking at individualized data in each school to identify areas of need. Where does an individual school need to improve to make school climate better in that respective school? And along with that, the school climate teams were each required to submit a plan, a school climate plan, where they identify anywhere between 2 and 4 goals related to improvement. For some of the schools, those were things like improving attendance outcomes. For others, it was making greater bridges with families, helping them to understand or expand offerings in the school environment. And that was all based on initial survey feedback we had received at the beginning of the year. We reviewed those plans as a cabinet leadership team, and Dr. Casimiro had to signify to the state that those were all in place, which we were able to do by the end of December. We've also done restorative practices training. We partnered with Ed Advance, which is one of the local RESCs. I'm very sorry for that. One of the local RESCs to roll out a training district-wide. It was an initial restorative practices training, which talks about how to have students restore anything that was broken. So as Mr. Kirsten had shared about Reach Endeavor, when a student makes a mistake, makes a poor choice, we want to make sure that we use that as an educational opportunity for them to figure out what went wrong, what's a better choice I can make next time, and then how do I go about fixing it. And so that training was rolled out district-wide to all staff from preschool to high school, and there'll be more training ongoing in that. Our district leaders will also continue to engage in additional training, again, with a partnership with Ed Advance, to start looking at the transition from our former bullying policy to this new restorative practices policy and how to go about conducting investigations and things like that when needed. So we're proud of the work to come. There's definitely a lot more that's still coming. Our next step is in the coming weeks, we'll be meeting as a district climate committee to bring all the school information together and really start to plan what we're going to do headed into the next school year. So I look forward to kind of continued updates, and I don't know if there's any questions.
Any questions for Kelly?
Okay, thank you, Kelly. Next, I'd like to turn it over to Allison Breedy Johnson, who is our new Associate Superintendent for Teaching and Learning and has hit the ground running with her team and Dr. Zalita. And I'd like for her to give us a few updates on what the team is working on and the focus of the work.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay. So just prior to the break, the team and I, myself, Dr. Zalita, Kelly Truchas, Anna Rocco, we went out to all of our schools and programs, including Reach Endeavor, the adult education program, our preschool programs. We met with school leaders. We talked to children. We learned about their experiences in the schools. I had an opportunity to meet with several parents and about 50 parents in the adult education program and the ESL program to just hear about their experiences in our district. And so from all of the visits, we have decided that our next step is really to assemble a committee of various people, central office, school leaders, teachers, to really think about what is our vision for teaching and learning so that our K-8 schools are really preparing our students to thrive in the academy model. And that vision will really help us to be able to do that. In addition to that, because of the feedback that we received throughout the visits and how valuable it was to us, in addition to the fact that as part of the school climate work with the state that we're required to do, we're required to have a survey. And what we've decided to do is to adopt a comprehensive survey that will not only collect information about school climate and culture, but will also collect information around student learning experiences. SEL has been a concern that has been raised by parents as well. So we'll be able to collect information around that. We'll be able to collect information from parents and teachers around various things that are happening in our district, including the academy model. We want to make sure that there's a strong awareness throughout our district, K-8, about the academies program, and that even in the high schools that our students are giving us feedback on their academy experiences so that we can quickly respond to the feedback that we're receiving. The other thing that we've been focusing on, so we have some mid-year data. It's that point of the year where we sort of check in to see how our students are doing. And so as part of our school improvement work, we're meeting with schools around their data and working with them to develop action plans on how to respond to the data to make sure that we're meeting the needs of all of our students. And finally, what I would say is in our next curriculum committee meeting, we do have some data that we would like to share with you in terms of the progress that we made from last school year. We definitely, our state data, accountability data, show that we made a lot of growth from the previous school year, so we do want to share that with you and continue with the great work that has been happening in the district and building upon that so that we can get even better.
Thank you, Allison. We appreciate the work that the team is doing. So moving on, just a little bit about the Danbury Clubhouse. Many of you in the room know that we just opened a Danbury Clubhouse for the Boys and Girls Club in downtown Danbury. We're become partners with them, and we'll have some of our buses running to be able to support the programming there. So after-school activities, programming, sports, swimming will be available at the Danbury Clubhouse, and some of our buses, depending on the school, will be running and doing drop-offs after school to connect kids to high-quality after-school care. There's a brochure in the packet for submission. This also went out through Parent Square over the weekend, and will also be included in my letter coming up to promote the program. And that starts, I think the grand kickoff is January 26th, and they are now registering enrolling students for that after-school care. So, yep. Oh, and they will be here February 23rd to do a presentation for all. Thank you for that date. Okay, the next person on the list here, I'd like to bring up Heather Lorenz for a moment. Heather is one of our phenomenal social studies teachers at Danbury High School. She teaches in the West building, so this building here, and she's going to give us an update on the DHS mock trial team, which is just killing it. So go ahead, take it away.
All right. Hello, everyone. Congrats to the new chair. For all of you who don't know me, I'm Heather Lorenz. Social studies, I mostly teach like AP government and politics, civics, capstone, the political science types of pre-law, all that. And I am here at the West Building. My door is always open. Please come and see what our kids are doing. And I also wanted to thank I thought it was on. Is it on?
It was pretty clear.
Anyway, I wanted to thank the board members who are able to come today for our capstone exhibition. It's the first capstone exhibition at DHS West. It went so phenomenally well. They're considering modeling it, doing it over at the other campus too. They've been doing a different variation and they're thinking about doing it, but it will definitely be repeated. So get ready for your invitations in May. But mock trial, so I think it's defined as a club, but it's really a team. The students prepare to compete both as a prosecution team and as a defense team at a competition that happens in December. We've been lucky. So this is only my second year running the team. Prior to me taking it over 2 years ago, it was ran more like a club and they weren't competing at all. And when I took it over, when the kids approached me and asked me to take it over because the other teacher wanted to let it go, I said, sure, but we're going to compete. And they were like, yes. So we competed last year for the first time, and this year we competed in December and we won. Two teams, one other along with us, one of the teams from St. Luke's in New Canaan are going on to the playoffs. So the first round of playoffs is February 6th, and we are competing at Bridgeport Courthouse. And we have a team of 14. There's a minimum of 6, but if you have a team of 6, that means they're doubling up on everything. So luckily I have a team of 14. About 60% of them are freshmen. Oh, wow. I have seniors and freshmen and one sophomore. So next year is going to be interesting. Actually, that's not true. I have one junior, one sophomore. So next year will be interesting. But each year last year, none of them had ever done that. And this year, I only had 4 repeating students, and the rest of the team is all brand new. So I'm hoping as the JLA curriculum builds out that we're going to get more kids interested. As a matter of fact, I just got an email today saying, hey, I'm really interested in the mock trial team. Can I join? And I'm like, yeah. So we'll see how we do at the playoffs. I also wanted to thank Dr. Casimiro because as soon as I texted her and told her we won, she's like, what can I do? And I can't tell you how much teachers appreciate that because for so often it's been so difficult for us to have resources, and thank you. So thank you for the bus.
Of course. Come back,
really all
come
I
back with the
needed.
W.
Yes. So anyway, my door is always open. Happy to have you all there. You'll see me a lot because I'm also the teacher action chair for the union. I'm the pathway lead for the Justice and Law Administration pathway. So you're going to see me in this room quite a bit. So say hi. For those newcomers, come and say hi to me, okay?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Any questions? No? Great.
Okay, good luck on the 7th.
Thank you.
Okay, before we move on to understanding weather-related decisions, I do want to take just a moment to acknowledge also our robotics team and kind of where they're at. We all know that they mopped up last year with the VEX Robotics, the world competition, but they're well on their way to maybe earning that credential again. So just very recently, the DHS Robotics team 5150 traveled to Middletown High School on the 10th. It was the fifth competition of the 25-26 year. 5 of the teams made it to the elimination round, and 2 made it as tournament finalists. As a result, one of the teams is now qualified for the Connecticut State Championship, and one of the teams was also awarded a Robot Skills Finalist and Design Award for having the best engineering notebook, which is a point of pride in our school, that those things are kept very meticulously and they're done very well. So the next competition, Team 5150, is heading out to Killingly on the 17th, and on that Killingly will host the 11th annual Connecticut VEX Robotics Tournament on Saturday, January 31st. So I think they're well on their way to the World Finals again on this path. But I think it's important to highlight some of the clubs and some of the small activities that happen in the school system. They're different than what other kids participate in. And sports are all over the newspaper. They get plastered everywhere, and they tend to get a lot of attention, which they deserve. But we also like to highlight that there are other interests and great things happening with our kids across the system in diverse ways. So congratulations to them, and you'll be hearing more, I'm sure, about that group. Okay, the next item on the list is pretty much the last one, is about understanding weather-related decisions. And I figured I would do this when I was not under the pressure of a 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock a.m. decision, because sometimes decisions get made in the morning and not everyone quite understands how those decisions are made and all that goes into making decisions. And I think we've nailed it. I think we've gotten most of the decisions right so far. But just in general, the decision for whether calls starts with collaboration with our city partners, with what's happening out in the community in terms of the roadways. So how the roads are treated, what type of, the timing of a weather event, information that we receive coming in over multiple hours from our partners with emergency weather planning. So we're part of a service that we are on a distribution list with really up-to-date, timely weather information that comes to us about the timing of events, the precipitation levels, the jet stream, and how that might jive with what's happening in our schools, when our schools start, some days that we have a delay, and what that would mean for us. So we work closely with the city, we work closely with the organization that supplies us our weather-related data, and then we look at what's happening in our schools, and we try to make the best decision possible in real time, and to do that with enough advance notice so that parents have time to react in terms of childcare. Many times I get texts the night before a storm. People want to know, are we having school tomorrow? Can you just call it now? It looks like it's going to be a blockbuster. All to find out that the storm has changed directions or has dwindled down and has pivoted. So we do tend to wait until the day to make the call. I know from time to time, things can happen where temperature, 1 degree difference can change everything, from rain to sleet to ice. And we make the best decision possible with the information that we have, but it is a collaboration between the city, what we know about our staff, and multiple weather services that stream in to give us the best data possible. And we also check in during larger storms or significant events with our area superintendent partners, so that we're really trying to be on the same page a little bit, because it tends to cause consternation when one school system does something and the other doesn't. There are variances. New Milford, they're always a little bit higher elevation, so sometimes they make different calls. But you'll tend to see that we do collaborate on those as well, just for the ease of communication around the area. So just thought I would get that out before the next storm, because there are always questions when those decisions have to be made, and it is a multitude of factors that go into that. Okay, all right. And that's it. That's all I have for tonight.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna, since we're in the process still of putting our chairs for our committees in place during the month of January, I'm gonna skip over committee reports for this month. And once we have everybody in place and we've actually had some meetings, then we'll come back to that. Okay, so let's move on to the action items. Action item A, Lauren, can you do that for me, please? Sure.
I make a motion that the Board of Education accept for first reading policy 5144.1, physical restraint / seclusion / exclusionary timeout, as recommended by the policy committee and in accordance with 26-05.
Motion made by Lauren. Do I hear a second? Second. Second by Al. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Action item B. Juanita, could you do that for me, please?
Policy 5145.14. On-campus recruitment. Motion that the Board of Education accept for the first reading, policy 5145.14, on-campus recruitment as recommended by the policy committee and in accordance with 26-06.
Motion made by Juanita. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Al. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Action item C. Kate, would you mind doing that?
I'll make a motion that the Board of Education accept for first reading policy 5145.511, sexual abuse prevention and education programs, as recommended by the policy committee and in accordance with exhibit 26-07.
Motion made by Kate. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Lauren. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Oh, so thank you for mentioning that. So just added today in the minutes is for information is the proposed next school year calendar. And right now it's just on for information, so we would just ask that you take some time to review it, and if there's any feedback or questions on it, that we have some time to discuss it between now and when we put it up for a final read. Okay?
Okay. So we're going to move on to the chairperson's report. I apologize if this is a little lengthy tonight. It's my first one, but I want to get some housekeeping stuff out of the way, especially because we have some new board members around the table. So it was a good night to take care of some stuff. First thing I want to talk about is emails. We all should have our district emails. And we'll probably go into this more as we go on. Just be aware of what you're putting out in your emails. But also, if you get emails from constituents, which you will probably get as we move forward, I do not have an issue with you just acknowledging receipt of the email. You could say, thank you, thank you for reaching out. I will forward this to the appropriate person. I would refrain from engaging any back and forth with constituents, especially on matters that we really don't know about. So we'll let the superintendent and we'll let her team take care of those. Okay, good, Kim? Okay, good, all right. Visiting school protocol. I know we've started scheduling some visits with the schools, and I thank Juanita for helping with some of the new people. If you want to schedule a visit with the school, please go through Kara Pompano before you schedule. She knows what's happening in the school. She knows best days. She knows when is a good time, so we're not too disruptive. I know that we want to be welcome there, but we just want to make sure that you guys are doing your job and we're not just, taking away from the students. So again, if you want to have any visits with the schools, go through Kara. Okay. Also, attendance for committee meetings and board meetings. So if you, when you get the calendar invites, please respond so we can confirm that we have a quorum for our committee meetings and also for our board meetings. If you have to change and something comes up, which is understandable, reach out to your committee chair and let them know if you can't make that particular meeting. If it's a board meeting, just reach out to me or Kara and let us know so we can just plan accordingly. Okay? All right. I am working with Kara as well on the PTO liaison list. I'm trying to get a master schedule spreadsheet together that'll have all contacts, names, who's to what school, and who is the contact person at that school. I'm working with Citywide PTO to put that together. We've got some gaps in there, and we're trying to fill the gaps. I'm going to give it another week. If I don't have that full, I'm just going to send out what we have, and you can start making your contacts with the schools that you're assigned to. Okay. Okay. Couple of things I wanted to announce. Wanted to have one board member that would be bringing information to and from the board on a state education level, and I know that was brought up tonight. So decided to have a legislative liaison from the board, and thank you, Kate, for taking on the role. And this will be our one board person that will have the contact with all things state education related. She will get the information from them, bring it back to the board, and let us know, and really keep us updated on things that we need to know state level, okay? And as we go on, these are all new things, so they might switch and change, and we might be tweaking as we go, so just know that these are all kind of new things that we're trying now. Aside from that, CABE is another organization that sends us a lot of information, and as board members, you're going to get a lot of emails from them. I am guilty of skimming through emails and missing a lot of stuff that comes in. So Juanita has, well, I didn't give her much of a choice, but she'll be able to help us to at least once a month, if she could put together like webinars that are available through CABE, information for us, and just send it out to the board as one blast, and you guys can just look through and see what's available that month, and if you have time to hop on, you can do that. And I think that's better to put it all in one area than kind of skimming through 50 emails trying to remember which one had that date on it. All right, so. Board professional development. This is another topic that I think we need to do better at. And so we're going to be, Kate's also taking this on as well. We're going to be bringing in PD for the board. I think it's important that we, even for existing board members, that we're constantly, tweaking our skills and learning and getting new information. So be working with Kate. Kate will be kind of brainstorming on how, what to bring in first. I think she'll talk about it in the next segment. But just know that I think it's important that we do that. It'll be workshops, and we'll schedule it around everybody, but I really would like everybody to really take those workshops as seriously as we do the board meetings, because it's very important, okay? Okay. Last, the board is gonna hit the road. We're going on tour. I wanna do Spotlight Our Schools at the schools, and I think it's very important. I really wanna make this board collaborative. I want us to really work together and all be involved, but I also want us to reach out and get down off of the hill and go down to the community and go down to the schools. A lot of people, I know when I was a parent and I came to board meetings, it's very intimidating to come to these meetings and have all these people sitting around these big chairs. But when you're in their school, in their community, that's where their neighbors are, their families are, everybody's there, and I really want to try to work to get a better attendance and just people there and people just knowing who we are and putting names with the faces. I'd ideally like to have a little tour of the school for the board when we get there and kind of as one unit go in and do that, and then conduct our meetings at the school. Thank you, Kara, for supporting this. So it's a little tough because a lot of the schedules are already done for this year, but we're able to get 3 in from now till the end of the year. So the first one will be Haystown on March 25th. We'll do King Street on April 15th and Stadley Rough on May 13th. And those were scheduled, but we, Kara and I kind of looked at it and we felt those 3 were good ones for us to be present at. Okay. And then once we get into the new school year, we'll set up the schedule for next year, but for this year, we've got 3. And like I said, it's a work in progress, so we'll be tweaking as we go, and we'll try to kind of fit it and, change it and do what we need to do for that, okay? All right, the last part is after the chairperson's report, there is the board communications and comments section. I'd like to, I know we haven't particularly used that portion of the meeting much, but I'd like to use that as a time for us as board members to, share where you've been, if you've gone to visit any schools, if you've been to any events during the course of the 2 weeks that we haven't been together, sharing invites from different events that some of us might get from our school liaisons and other people might not, and come back to the board and kind of talk about it. So that's what I'd like to do during that section. So as you go through your 2 weeks and you're going to different schools, keep notes and bring it back to us because I really want it to share all that information with all of us. Okay? And that wasn't too bad. I'm done. Thank you. Okay. Well, now we'll go into board communications and comments. So does anybody on the board have anything they'd like to share or talk about before we move on? Kate?
So a number of us attended the CABE convention in November, which is the biggest event that CABE puts on all year for professional development for board members. Juanita was there, Sherry was there, Al was there, Sean was there, Gladys was there, and I was there. And so we got a chance to kind of explore a lot of different courses. It was a good experience. I'm not going to get into too much of the details, but one of the courses I did sit in on was around cyber protection and good digital citizenship, which I thought was really pertinent given how much of that is involved in the way that we do learning in our classrooms now. So, and then, as far as the PD, I just wanted to speak to that quickly. One of the ideas that I have is to bring in a finance training. We've talked about that before under Gladys's leadership, and we're going to try to make that happen quickly because I think, especially with budget season approaching, it would be helpful for especially newer board members to have sort of some information and some definitions and understanding of how we read our statements. But I certainly welcome input from everybody at this table. Please feel free to contact me directly with any ideas you might have for board development or for anything state-related as well. Thank you.
Anybody else? Lauren?
So I have just a couple of things that are happening with DSABC. So tomorrow night, they're hosting a wristband night at Illicit. So you buy a wristband for $10 at the door, and DSABC, so you buy the wristband for $10, DSABC gets a portion of that, and then you get discount on your food and drinks. And then they're going to be having a mentor mixer on Wednesday the 21st from 8 to 9:15 right here at Danbury High West. And then Wednesday, January 28th, all day, a give back day where you go in, you dine, and it's at the Holiday Diner, and then a portion of the proceeds goes back to DSABC as well.
Thank you. Anybody else? Juanita?
Just an update on some of the webinars that CABE is offering. And so they have 3 sessions on district budgeting. And the first one was on the 13th, and it was started out with budget development. Very informative. I've been through it before, but to hear it over and over, you just can't get enough of it. One of the things that they did suggest, and I just couldn't even remember if we did it or not, that there are many, many abbreviations and acronyms for many things, and perhaps at the end of the proposal, or that we have a list of what all those things mean. The next one is coming up in February, and it will be on the 25th, and it is on adopting a budget.
Thank you. Sean?
I'd like to congratulate Heather and the fellow teachers for the capstone projects as well as the presentations today. You did a great job of bringing together the community. You had the fire department here, the police department, you had city council members, you had state representatives, you had city departments, you had a state senator here. It was neat to see the people collaborate and work with the students in this beautiful brand-new building. I'd also like to congratulate Dr. Rocco and her fellow staff, Kelly, for coming to the meeting on evals, evaluations and professional development. It was really neat to watch them work together for what's best for the kids, what's best for the teachers so that they can do their job. So I congratulate you on a great collaboration.
Anybody else? Sherry?
Yes. I just wanted to say that Cindy and I attended the West Side Middle School History Project Judge. And it was awesome just to see how hard all these kids worked and how excited they were. And I just feel like this is going to be a wonderful perk about being on the Board of Ed, getting to be a part of all these cool things.
Great, thank you. Anything else? No? Okay. Okay, go ahead.
I know I acknowledged you before the meeting started, but I just wanted to acknowledge Minnie and winning this seat on the board. Thank you very much for your volunteerism and your service, and we're happy to have you on board. So just wanted to make sure, for the record, we were happy to have you. Very quiet. Yeah.
Okay, if there's nothing else,
Excuse me, could I sort of, if I'm out of order, I'll be quiet. I would like for the associate superintendent to sort of answer a question for me. When you provide this data for the board, would that data for the elementary school include the present reading and writing scores of our elementary schools?
So the data that will be presented is the state accountability data that came out in November that showed how we performed as a district for the 24-25 school year. But we can certainly share some of the mid-year data in terms of the progress that we're making in this current school year.
Okay, thank you.
okay. Okay, I need somebody to make the motion, please.
I make the motion that we go to executive session.
Okay. Thank you for coming. Yeah. Oh, is there a second?
Oh,
Hold on.
give me my guess.
Repeat.
The Board of Education recessed into executive session for the purpose of discussing the negotiations for a successor agreement between the Danbury Board of Education and Teamsters Local Union 443 custodians, maintenance, and drivers, and the amendment to the agreement between Danbury Schools Administrators Association and the Board of Education with a possible action in public session.
Thank you, Al. Motion made by Al. Do I have a second? Second made by Sean. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay, we are in executive. we just, we just read through? Okay, go ahead.
between the Danbury School Administrators Association and the Board of Education for the period July 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2028 as presented.
Okay. Seconded by Kate. Any questions, concerns? No? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? No? Okay, motion passed.
Madam Chair, before you adjourn, I did want to make one comment about the email
Okay.
that you had talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Because it's a little bit counterintuitive. Just a reminder that if you do have emails amongst each other, please do not hit reply all.
Oh,
and
yeah.
comment,
I forgot
because
that.
they
I forgot that.
inadvertently create a meeting.
Yes.
So it is possible to create a meeting in cyberspace by talking to each other in a common email. And in order to have a meeting, we must publish a date, time, an agenda. And so it's the most common trap. So just do
Thank you.
not hit reply all if you all are emailing.
Thank you, Kim. Perfect, thank you. I missed that one. Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I make the motion to adjourn.
Second? Second by Sean. We are adjourned. Thank you.